So Donald Trump invited the foreign minister of Russia and their ambassador over to the Oval Office the day after he fired James Comey, who was investigating his links to the Russians. First of all, brilliant optics, well played. It's like rubbing your face in it. He doesn't mean to do it on purpose. He's not trying to be a tough guy. He just doesn't think these things through. He thought that James Comey being fired would work out well. Has it? He thought the Democrats would like the move. He's like, oh, you didn't like Comey because of what he did to Hillary, and he's investigating me over my connections to Russia, so I fired him so he doesn't find out what I did with the Russians. Oh, you're upset about that? I thought it was going to be a win-win. So he invites the Russians over the very next day. Whoa, people are going to say something about it because I come under investigation with the Russians, and then invited the Russians over for tea in the Oval Office. Color me surprised. Okay, so it gets worse. He does that, and then he lets their photographer in to take pictures all over the Oval Office. That's a security problem. Okay, I'm going to explain the depths of that problem in a second. And second of all, he's bringing in all this technical equipment in the Oval Office. Let me ask you something. Are you confident, even if you're a Donald Trump supporter, you're confident that Donald Trump outwitted them and knows for sure that they didn't bug the Oval Office? Okay, so then people start asking questions like Colin Kahl. Okay, now he's a guy that was a former national security advisor to Vice President Joe Biden. And he asked on Twitter, deadly serious question, was it a good idea to let a Russian government photographer and all their equipment into the Oval Office? I think we could all answer, no, not a good idea. But David S. Cohen stepped up. He was former deputy CIA director, so he would know a thing or two about that. Very simple answer, no, it was not. Not a good idea at all, okay? Now, Colin Kahl gives you further context. This is really important because, what are the normal rules? Does everybody get to walk in and take pictures around the Oval Office? Is that no big deal because it's not really where they do things? It's not like it's the Situation Room where they're doing, strategy over war, or no, that's where they make all the decisions. It's really important. So let's find out. Colin Kahl says, I couldn't let foreign delegations bring phones or cameras into my executive office building. That's basically the vice president's office. So basically not the Oval Office, okay? Involved with the presidency, but not the Oval Office. He says, yet Trump let Russian government photographer and equipment into the Oval. So normally you can't let foreign delegations into any office related to the presidency, let alone the Oval Office. And he's like, oh, a foreign delegation, and it's the Russians. Come on in, take pictures all over the Oval Office. Kahl says, I was in the Oval daily, had to leave phone and camera outside. Apparently that doesn't apply to Russian government in this White House. If you work for the vice president as a national security advisor, you had to leave your phone and camera outside. No one is to be trusted with that kind of equipment inside the Oval Office except the Russian ambassador and the Russian foreign minister. Clown of all clowns, Donald Trump. Can't you think through anything? Okay, now if you think, no, he's playing three-dimensional chess, you can't understand his genius, Cenk. Hold, because they're about to tell you what they think of this in a second. We go to the Washington Post. They say, the officials cited the danger that a listening device or other surveillance equipment could have been brought into the Oval Office while hidden in cameras or other electronics. Former US intelligence officials raised questions after photos of Trump's meeting with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov were posted online by the TASS news agency. That's the Russian government's news agency. And again, not only that they could take pictures, but they could also leave bugs behind. Now, the White House says, we routinely check for that anyway. And they say, oh, we checked their equipment before they came. You really, how long did you check their equipment? If the Russians are bringing in stuff to record inside the Oval Office, you'd have to dismantle that thing to make sure that you've checked it properly. We're not going into any regular old building going through a metal detector here. They didn't take that long to dismantle it. No, they did a routine check. Of course you can't figure out if it's a sophisticated piece of equipment that can listen in or not. So, and this is, by the way, not just me saying it, all the experts, the guys who worked in the Oval Office before are saying it. Former deputy director of the CIA is saying it. The administration officials said the White House had been misled about the role of the Russian photographer. Russian officials had described the individuals as Lavrov's official photographer without disclosing that he also worked for TASS. So let's get this right. They tell Trump, hey, the foreign minister's official photographer is going to come in. Don't worry, he's not part of Russian news. So can he just take pictures all around the Oval Office? What difference does it make, dude? Of course, the official photographer of the Russian foreign minister can't come into the room where we make all of our decisions about foreign policy, let alone domestic policy, and take pictures of the room. Where's the question? And he's like, oh, he's just your official photographer taking vanity shots. Oh, then that's okay, come on in, schmucks. Okay, the administration official says, we were not informed by the Russians that their official photographer was dual-hatted and would be releasing the photographs on the state news agency. In other words, yeah, oops, we didn't realize that they're not only gonna take the pictures, but that they were gonna clown us afterwards by showing them in public. And we were hoping that our clownish behavior just remained behind scenes and we endangered national security, but nobody would find out about it. Now everybody's found out about it, we're doubly embarrassed. So then they go, and Jim Acosta has some sources, he's from CNN, and they say this is my favorite part. White House furious over Russian government photos of Trump meeting with Lavrov and Kislyak. Quote, they tricked us. An official said of the Russians, they lie. Oh, you just figured that out. Yeah, that's not just on the Russians. Look, any foreign government, especially one that we are not overly friendly with these days, or we're in a competitive situation with, of course they're gonna wanna get information about the Oval Office. You can't just be like, oh, that's your official photographer. Oh, no problem, oh, come on. Oh, golly gee, they tricked us. It turns out that was their state news agency. Come on, conservatives. You really respect this guy? A total orange buffoon. The Russians must have been laughing at him behind his back. Remember that memo they wrote about Carter Page, another Trump advisor? They said, this guy's a total moron, but he's been useful to us for all the information he's given us. Might as well have been describing his boss. Our journalism drive is almost over. It ends in Trump's first 100 days. We need to hire more reporters and more watchdogs. Let's do that right now at tytnetwork.com/go.